I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Whose broad stripes and bright stars
Through the perilous fight,
o'er the ramparts we watched, so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, North High Choir. Roll call. Ivy, would you please do the roll call?
Director Barnes.
Here.
Director Beck.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
President Quine Jerome.
Here.
Vice President Postian.
Here.
Director Potts.
Here.
Director Yonke. She should be joining via Zoom. Director Yonke, are you there?
Tim said no. That it? Okay. Thank you. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of the 95% plan and specifications for the North High School parking lot replacement and addition. Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-305-224-1968 and enter meeting ID 96202380125 and passcode 782963. State your name and address for the record. Seeing and hearing none, I now declare the public hearing closed. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Potts.
I move the board approve plans and specifications for the North High parking lot replacement and addition project as shown in the 95% plans and specifications.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote. Director Barnes.
My vote is yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
Director Hayes. Director Postian.
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion carries. Next is the Central High School office remodel for security. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of the 95% plan and specifications for the Central High School office remodel for security. 95%. Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-305-224-1968 and enter meeting ID 96202380125 and passcode 782963. State your name and address for the record. Anybody? Seeing and hearing none, I now declare the public hearing closed. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the plans and specification for the Central High Security Main Entry Remodel Project as shown in the 95% plan and specifications.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Again, this is a roll call vote. Director Barnes? Oh, any discussion? Sorry. Director Foster.
So as I've previously stated at other meetings, I have quite a concern for the amount of money that we're going to be putting into this entryway. We're talking about $450,000 for just an entrance into the building. However, I realize how important safety is, but I just think that we needed to look at this closer. Maybe we should have hired a different architect and maybe get some different ideas. But $450,000 just for an entrance into a building, I think I just can't fathom that. And so my vote is going to be no.
Anybody else have a question at the table? Okay, the vote. Director Barnes,
My vote is yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
No.
Director Potts,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. This public hearing is for approval of 95% plan and specifications for the Harrison Elementary roofing replacement. The roofing sections were installed in 1997. The 95% plans and specifications are complete for the project and available for review. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of 95% plans and specifications for the 95% plans and specifications for Harrison Elementary roofing replacement. Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-305-224-1968. Enter meeting ID 962-0238-0125 and passcode 782963. State your name and address for the record. Anybody? Seeing and hearing none, I now declare the public hearing closed. Is there a comment or discussion from the board? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. May I have, I got it, I read it, I haven't moved it.
We didn't have a motion.
I know I said I just got to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, could I have a motion, please?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the plans and specification for the Harrison Elementary roofing replacement as shown in the 95% plans and specifications.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now does anybody have a question or comment? Seeing none, the roll call vote. Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of the 95% plans and specifications for the 1,080 hours for the 2026 school year. Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-305-224-1968 and enter meeting ID 962-0238-0125 and passcode 782963. State your name and address for the record. Anybody interested? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I recommend the administration to continue to using the 1,080 hours model for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions from the board about this? Seeing none, a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. One more. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of the 2026-27 start date Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-305-224-1968 and enter meeting ID 9620238 0125 and passcode 782963. State your name and address for the record. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the academic calendar for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
This is, okay, just to clarify, this is just the start date. It's not the calendar as a whole.
Okay, the board approved the start date for August 24th for the school year of 26-27.
And is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there a question about any of this? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote. Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes, Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
And my vote is yes, motion carries. Okay, it's the end of that one. Reports by the student board members.
Hi, I'm Gia Shook from Davenport Central, and our CSI show choir group went to Norwalk, Iowa this past weekend for a competition, and they got ranked first overall and got voted best vocals and best choreography.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Neely from Davenport Central, and 9 of our students were just selected for the John Deere Scholarship, which was the most from all the schools combined.
Thank you. Next up, recognitions. Turn it over to the superintendent.
Well, the Heart of Excellence Award is slowly becoming one of my favorite things to do as an educator. And today we're here to recognize our second quarter Heart of Excellence Award honorees. And some of them are here tonight. And I see Fillmore brought half their staff with them too. So way to go, Flyers. You always do. So the Heart of Excellence Award celebrates Davenport Community School District staff who embody dedication, innovation, and compassion in service to our students, colleagues, and community. Each quarter, district administration and the school board honors outstanding staff members whose work reflects the true heart of growing excellence, inspiring others and helping our district thrive. These awardees are nominated by their peers, and many of them are nominated multiple times. So as I read about you, please come up to the podium. Up first, we have Crystal Duffy. She is one of the most amazing paraeducators we have here at Williams. She works with special education students, and we have a student who is incredibly musically gifted, but is mostly nonverbal. Crystal supports this student so that he can participate in band here at Williams. She is a talented musician herself, and those music skills have been so impactful to this student's learning. Crystal also attends all of our band trips and performances outside of school or being paid to do so. She also can be best she can best support this student. She goes above and beyond every day, and I'm so appreciative to have her in my classroom at Williams. Crystal spent her Tuesday evening at the band spectacular performance at Brady Street Stadium so that our student would be comfortable and supported, playing with all of the other 7th through 12th grade students in the district. Sometimes that can be intimidating, but Crystal was there to help guide our young musicians so he could have the same opportunities as the rest of our students. It was amazing to see. Crystal embodies our district mission by putting students at the forefront of all she does. She is not only an asset to our students, but also helps support me in class. I'm so incredibly grateful to have someone who shares her skills and talents with our students. She's helping to inspire young musicians, showing them different ways they can spread their love of music within the world. Thank you for all you do, Crystal. Help me thank you, Crystal. Yeah, stay up there. Grow Butler.
Oh, no, stay there.
No,
Stay
yes.
there.
Please stay up there. Miss Rolanda Butler is a special education teacher at Fillmore. She has worked at Fillmore for 30 plus years. Miss Butler began her educational career as a paraeducator, went back to school to further her career to the classroom supporting students as a special education teacher. Miss Butler embodies positivity. She begins each day with an amazing morning meeting routine, bringing new spirit and practices to her students. Miss Butler validates the importance of self-affirmations, individual goal setting, and as a respected teacher with a solid reputation, she holds her students accountable for becoming productive citizens at school, tracking the positive impact students make at school and identifying ways to extend and grow within our community. Miss Butler has touched many students and families' lives through her time at Fillmore Elementary School and will be retiring at the conclusion of the 2026 school year. We'll gladly extend your contract, Miss Butler, if you decide not to. I cannot think of someone more deserving of the Heart of Excellence Awards. Miss Butler maintains her relationships with students and families outside the walls of our school. Miss Butler continues to build support systems for students now in high school and who have graduated by working within our community through her various volunteering services through her church, Third Baptist Church, and Adult New Choices work. Miss Butler works daily to support students and staff in the district and school growing excellence goals. She implements strategies to motivate, fill learning gaps with some of our most at-risk students. Mr. Art Bell, one of the greatest reveals of all time. We were at North, and we're clapping. Even after I said his name, he was like, "This guy sounds pretty impressive." You didn't even know it was about him. That's how humble Mr. Bell is. We can count on he is reliable and always up for whatever he is called to do. He has made meaningful connections with staff and students, and he has risen to the occasion in many situations at school and in the community. He has a positive attitude and is wonderful to work with at North. Every year I deliver Thanksgiving baskets to North families in need. I asked Art if he would be willing to assist me in the deliveries, and as usual, he didn't hesitate to say yes. While delivering the baskets, I learned even further how connected he is in the community and how much he cares about it. He is genuinely concerned for our at-risk students, and he is dedicated to helping them achieve their goals. He shows compassion to our students through his interactions with them, and students know this and respond positively. Art shows compassion and dedication to the students he works with at North. He shows up for them, and they know it, and they can rely on him. He shows them he is there for them by being a consistent presence and encouraging them to achieve their goals. He gets along with everyone. We love Art. Danny Antle. Officer Antle is always having our back at Sudlow Junior High when we have some difficult situations arise. Officer Antle has made a positive impact with not only players on the DC football team, but also with some of our Sudlow Tigers who've had difficult days. Officer Antle is always able to de-escalate parents when they come in upset and reassure them that they have his support when they leave the building. We had a student who was struggling and not responding to others in the building, and Officer Antle arrived to the building and bonded with the student, and this student thinks the world of Officer Antle. Officer Antle is always responding and acting on supporting not only what is best for our students, but for families and staff. See here? Keeping the neighborhood safe. Lisa Reed. Lisa is such a strong administrator. She manages to strike a balance between being tough and soft. She is tough when she needs to be enforcing policies consistently and taking behavior concerns seriously. She isn't afraid to lay down the law. However, she's also so approachable, reasonable, and fair in everything that she does. She really listens to you and makes you feel heard and supported for staff and students alike. She pretty much never turns down a task when something needs to be done, often saying that staff cannot add one more thing to their plate, and she adds it to her own instead. She really walks the walk. Lisa Reed.
Next up is fall athletics. Turned over to the superintendent.
These nights are oftentimes bucket fillers, and from now on, we have to add the Heart of Excellence Award onto the athletic celebration. It just raises all the ships in the room. But tonight, we have our district athletic director, Mr. Shovelin, here to celebrate the achievements from the fall. So I'll turn it over to you. First of all, parents, I want to say, and coaches and staff members and community members, I want to thank you so much every day for showing up for our students, showing up for our programs. When I think about everything that goes into the fall, whether it be the Davenport North pork chops that I see people pull up to the side and pay to get in the game just to get one of those, to the excellent games and sportsmanship that happen all fall. It could not happen without our guardians, and I'm incredibly thankful for that and appreciative. So Dave, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for assembling this crew. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thanks, TJ. Normally that would be pretty tough act to follow. If it was just me here standing here, I'd be very nervous following those amazing individuals, knowing each one of them, and definitely well-deserved. But the group behind me is definitely going to make up for that, so I feel a lot more confident in what we're going to celebrate, and we're just going to continue right on. So I do appreciate the opportunity. Each time we've done this, we've tried to kind of keep it in the same format. So I'll jump in right away. I'll just say a few things about how our middle schools are doing. That's one of the biggest focuses on driving our success and getting more and more people in the room. Obviously, we have 3 sports in the fall. One of the biggest things a year and a half ago when I took over was increasing participation. And as you guys know, same with school, you get them in the seats, provide them good education or good instruction, and they're going to be able to perform at whatever level they need to. So we needed to get more people in the gym, on the field, and on the courses to be able to do that. So cross country, this year, we doubled our numbers from the year before. So we went from 28, we finished with 67 this year. We had to add a coach. In the meantime, to make that happen, we sent, I believe, 4 boys went to the state meet. Now understand, in middle school, we don't have state sanctioned events. So it's kind of like the end of the season, the pizza party is the way you do it. As opposed to when the high school finishes, we'll celebrate our state performers that are in the room today with us. So it's a little bit different. Cross country does offer an opportunity to end their season. They do it on their own. We do support them somewhat. They represent Davenport, but they do that on an individual basis because it's not school-based. It's not school sanctioned, but we feel it's important for those high flyers to get an opportunity to go out and see what the state has to offer. So we were able to do that. We sent some kids. They did well. Our coaches volunteered their time and took them out there. Volleyball this year, we've always done a clinic at the end of each season. Numbers were great again. And we were able to offer what we called a clinic, which was basically a city tournament. And we provided them with shirts. This is Walcott this year. They were the city champion. It's played the last Saturday of the season at Central. The Central volleyball coaches and the other volleyball coaches come and help out. It's all run by them. It's refereed by kids. It's a great deal, and it meant a lot for them to have that shirt. We obviously picked pink. If you follow girls sports, as soon as you win a state championship, they hand you a pink shirt. So that's what we did here, and we were able to put their names on it, and the community was pretty excited about that. Football, we were able to really get it going. We really retained a lot from 7th to 8th grade, and that was great. We need to, obviously, always more. You're never satisfied with the numbers you have. You want to keep growing them numbers so we can participate at higher levels at the high school, and we've been able to do that, but we're not satisfied with where we're at. We want to keep growing it. We want to keep having not enough uniforms. We want to keep having not enough pads. Those are good problems to have, and then we want to retain those and provide them great opportunity and great coaching to be able to, again, shoot to be in the back of the room here, which we got quite a few of them. So credit to the administrators, the ADs there. They do a lot of work. They put a lot into it, and it means a lot for our kids to be able to show see the dedication at an adult level and get the good coaching that they need to move forward, that they care, they're going to challenge them, and they're going to instruct them in technique. So with that being said, I get to flip my own. All right. We're going to jump into the high schools. It's not working. Oh. All right, we'll start with West High. I do have Michelle Lillis here, and if we can have the West High Falcons come up, and we'll hear about their fall.
Good evening. Thanks for having us here. I do want to take a moment and say thanks to Mr. Shevlin for working with these junior highs and creating a better connection. We have had a lot of conversations. Those ADs are working hard to help us keep all our kids here. So I just want to give a shout out to that and kudos for helping us do that. Tonight, we get to honor two of our athletes. Here's Kaysen. I don't see Chase here, so I'm going to talk about Chase for a minute, and then I have Coach Verdon here with me, and he's going to say a few kind words about Kaysen. So I'm so excited for Chase. It was a struggle season for the Falcons, and it takes a lot to stay focused and give your all every day when you're facing hardships, and that was Chase. And he's an outstanding young man, and I'm just super proud of everything he did. Thankful to his parents for keeping him on track and keeping him with us. We're really grateful. He was first team All-State. He was also first team All-District, as well as he was named Punter of the Year for our district. And so he had a lot of honors and well-deserved, and we are so proud of him. I'm sorry he couldn't be here. But I'd like to introduce to you Coach Verdon. He is our boys and girls swimming coach. Coach Verdon.
Hello, I guess. This is Kaysen. She is our diver for this year. So we had a team of 11 or so, and then Kaysen was one of our only divers that we had this year. And luckily for us, she was able to qualify for state. She went to district meet. She placed fifth place with a score of, I believe it was 327-ish, around there. So with that score, she was able to go to state and qualify and compete at the state meet in Iowa City. And there she was competing, and she's just a junior. And she qualified last year, and then hopefully this next year she'll be able to be a 3-time state qualifier. So thank you.
Just a couple words, too. Just imagine the tradition of football we have. We're getting back to that, but put Chase's name on the wall with some NFL players. So being from Iowa, we have to love our punters and understand the role they play in winning football games. Kaysen as well, if you've ever been to a swim meet, the divers are incredibly athletic young people. It's just amazing to watch. I can do a cannonball, and that's about all I got. So to watch that, and the precision is amazing, and really proud that we can send a diver out there to the state meet. So great job, guys. I'd like to have all the North Wildcats come up and Coach Height. I'm not sure where we're going to put you all, but let's find a spot here. And do we have JC? Coach Lundeen, did JC show up? No, okay. It's my honor tonight. Coach Mosier, or Mr. Mosier, is home sick today. How do you just in front? If you guys just want to kind of go in front, we'll have you face this way. I'm going to start with the North football team, and then we'll finish with our individual awards. Team in general, kind of the points up here really kind of tell the story, but they don't as well. So even though one thing you have to understand about football, when you make the playoffs, that's going to the state tournament. So every other sport, every team in Iowa makes the playoffs or gets a postseason, and they get an opportunity to earn the state tournament. Every game matters in football. These guys showed that every game mattered in football. They showed up every game. They played hard every game. 6 wins. Offense was off the chart with records. We'll talk about some individual awards that came with that. their third playoff berth. I don't want to downplay the other two. One was COVID, where every team made it. The other one was they got second in the district, but I believe they had maybe 1 or 2 wins was all. So this is a team that has left their mark at North High School. If you watch the game at Pella, it was one play either way, and they advanced on. Pella moved into the state finals, and they played for a state championship. So that's how close these gentlemen were from moving that forward. With that came a lot of awards for them individually. If you are here and I read your name, please step forward. We'll start with second team. Cole Snar as a defensive lineman, Christian Shorter as a defensive back, AJ Taylor as a wide receiver, and Trayterius Watson as a defensive lineman. And then our first team, Neil Brown as quarterback, Derek Pena as running back, Donovan Holloway as a linebacker, David Joyner as a wide receiver, Kenyon Purnell as a defensive lineman, and Hunter Bennett as a linebacker. So all these earned first team all-district honors, and second team, that's huge. They got some individual honors as well. Neil Brown was, as I said, first team all-conference or all-district, a little different in football, and was co-offensive MVP of the district. Second team all-state was David Joyner. That's a big accomplishment. What, first year of football, David? Is that right? Pretty successful considering he got a full-ride scholarship to go play college football, and he's got 1 year under his belt. So really excited. Maybe another Roger Craig here. We'll see. Also, like I said, I'd like to just give a round of applause to the football team to start with. They're kind of individually here. Unbelievable Coach Height, and he's got some of his coaches with him. Tremendous job in running a program. And we're looking into, how we can even do better. He's always, how can I do better? What else can we do? Can I go to this clinic? Can we get this? Can I get this? That's not a bad thing, Coach. I appreciate the pressure. So he's always wanting the best for his kids. His kids have a lot of respect in his program, and they do the right thing. So that's a credit to the gentleman standing over there as well. That doesn't just happen. That comes with dedication, sacrifice, and role models. So, coaches, great job. Thank you. I would ask
Mr. Chauvin.
Yes.
Just, would you introduce your coaches?
Yes. Coach Height is the head coach. Coach Alphabet, I can't say his last. Help me out, Coach. Alexiajic. I'm going to say it once. Coach Keith and Coach Armand. And we do have others. Those were the ones that were able to make it. The staff was coaching other sports most likely. So, but again, great job. If I could have Coach Lundeen step forward here. She's in the back. She doesn't really want to. We did have one all-MAC state qualifier cross-country runner at North, J.C. Newsey. Third year. He's a junior, third year that's made it. And hopefully he'll make another appearance next year in his fourth year. And that'll be a 4-time qualifier, which he can run with some of the Central kids that we're going to hear about because they're extremely successful in the cross-country thing. So again, North High School, great job, guys. Can you guys make sure you stick around because we'll do a picture with everybody at the end after we go through Central. So we can have you go back. Great job. Thank you. All right. Next up is Davenport Central. We have Kevin Peterson here that will go through our award winners from Central.
If we could have all the Central athletes and coaches come up here. You hold on, Barb. Come on up. Come on up. I see you. We have some kids that are still at basketball. Some that didn't make it. But Davenport Central had a really successful fall season, as you'll see by all the athletes and coaches we're recognizing tonight. We're really excited. A lot of these athletes are going to be back next year and can continue that success and build on it. We're going to start with our girls swimmers. Coach Josh Hopewell is here on the end. And we might as well start with his daughter, Olivia Hopewell. Had a very successful season. She was first team All-MAC in the 200 freestyle and also a state qualifier, even though the dots, she did both. That's why the dots are there for both. And she was also first team All-MAC in the 500 freestyle and also a state qualifier. Then we have Katie Thiessen. She was first team All-MAC in the 100 freestyle, also a state qualifier, and second team All-MAC in the 200 freestyle and also a state qualifier. Then we have Izzy Hansen, and she was second team All-MAC in the 100 breaststroke. We also have our relays, if you want to step forward if you were on the relay. Second team All-MAC 200 freestyle relay and also state qualifiers was made up of Izzy Hansen, Quinn Cosby, Olivia Hopewell, and Katie Thiessen. And we were second team All-MAC in the 400 freestyle and also state qualifier. And that team was made up of Izzy Hansen, Kayla Pitzer, Olivia Hopewell, and Katie Thiessen. They had a very successful season, so a round of applause for our girls swim team. Next, we'll move on to our cross-country athletes. I see we have all of them here tonight, and we have Coach Wendy Shaw on the end. For boys cross-country, first team All-MAC, Zach Ryan, and second team All-MAC, Emmett Revelbeck. And not surprisingly, both of them also qualified for the state meet. In girls cross-country, we brought extras because not only did we have some all-conference runners and some state qualifiers, but our team also, for the second year in a row, finished second in the MAC. So a round of applause for the team. And part of the reason was we have the MAC champion, Jolie Sullivan. Step forward. She was also first team All-MAC and a state qualifier and finished fourth in the whole state. Congratulations, Jolie. Another all-conference runner from our girls team, second team All-MAC, Remedy Brack. And she was also a state qualifier as well. So a round of applause for all our cross-country athletes. Now, Coach Berg and our football guys couldn't make it tonight, but we want to honor them. And like Coach Sutherland said, we love our punters. Ours was very good too. So Jerome Bahati made second team all-district punter. And TK Morrison made second team all-district wide receiver. Round of applause for those guys. So before you guys leave, Coach is going to say something.
Just to kind of introduce one last thing. Well, we can have the athletes go ahead. You guys can go ahead and sit down. I appreciate it. We did one thing that a lot of our ADs, they're always quick to take the criticism and they're always quick to deflect the praise. So it goes out. It goes without saying, Kevin, Jeremy, and Michelle do a fantastic job behind the scenes making things run. I say that every time I'm up here. I wouldn't say it if I don't believe it. And they always want to honor somebody else. So we decided with each time we get to stand up here, we want to honor somebody that makes our system work. That could be a scoreboard operator. It could be the custodian. It could be the guy that lets the people in the door and has them go through where they need to go through, which is kind of a maze at Central. So tonight I want to introduce one of our special Blue Devils, and I'll let Kevin kind of go in a little more in depth. Come on up, Barb. Most of the time they never want to come forward either. So it's like a dragon.
You know, I was talking to Barb before I told her about coming up here today, and it just so happens the guy that conned you into doing this in the first place is actually in the room tonight. Didn't you tell me that Cartier? Second one, okay. Well, he was the one that kept you going. So I actually had the privilege of working with Pat Sheehy, who was honored last time as well. And I said, well, I have my own Pat Sheehy. I have my Barb Riley. So tonight, I want to honor Barb. Barb is very loyal to Davenport Central, and she was actually a counselor when I was still there, and she's always been a friend of mine. And so I'm just going to read this word for word so that I don't mess it up, okay? Even though you know it means a lot. Barb Riley has been helping Central Athletics for 20 years, selling and taking tickets. She brings a warm smile and positivity to every game she works at. She worked as a school counselor for 46 years in various districts before retiring from Davenport in 2013. Barb continued to work games even after retiring, and I'm still convincing her to come back each year. She never gets flustered, even when the lines are longer than at Target. She always stays calm and is always pleasant to patrons. She even offers to cook for workers so they don't have to eat pizza or hot dogs every time they work. I'm proud to call her my friend, and I'm really excited I'm able to honor her tonight for all her hard work. Barb, you are more than just a ticket taker. You are a friend, and you're a loyal Blue Devil forever.
Thanks, Barb. I appreciate all you do for Central and Davenport schools. If you've ever been in line at a busy basketball game, some of the rudest people you've ever met in your life are trying to find the extra dollar to get in the game, and it's somehow the ticket seller's fault that they don't have that dollar. So she is patient and kind when I'm not sure everybody could be. So a great honor for her. As we end tonight, I did want to throw out, in case you missed it, great honor for Davenport schools, and that's Roger Craig being inducted in the National League or the NFL Pro Hall of Fame. Pretty neat to think we're going to have a little place, Davenport Central High School in Canton, Ohio, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Well deserved, a long time ago, but we all know that. But better late than never. I'm sure he's thinking that himself. So congratulations to Roger and his family. And we'll look to do some special things for him this next coming fall. So, again, TJ, your team, board, we appreciate all you do for athletics. The commitment you make makes a difference. They feel the difference. We get more and more people at these celebrations because of the commitment that you make to them. And they may not say it enough, but I appreciate it. The people behind me appreciate it. And we're going to do bigger and better things each time we come up here. So thank you again. I'm going to ask all the athletes to come back up and get a picture. And thank you guys again. Have a great night.
Okay, next up are board reports. Anybody? Dr. Boston.
Well, I'd just like to echo what Mr. Shovlin said as far as Roger Craig being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, and again, long overdue. I'd also like to acknowledge the passing of Ted Burson. He was a teacher at Walcott for 35 years. He taught science and math and coached 7th, 8th, and 9th grade basketball, and he was my 9th grade basketball coach. Sympathy goes out to Louise and his family.
He was a teacher when I was out there. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on. Okay, next up is open forum. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or the school board page of the district's webpage for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participants must email their request to Ivy Rostenbach at rostenbach@davenportschools.org by 3 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. Iowa open meetings law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak, which will be 2 minutes. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. You will be asked to state your name and home address prior to making remarks. Please note that board meetings are recorded and the recordings are available online. Do we have any virtual ones? Okay. So first up, I have Christine Frederick. Please come up, push the button, it'll turn green. State your name and address.
I'm Christine Frederick, 822 East 32nd Street, Davenport, Iowa. I am Pat Zamora's daughter. Mom was a huge champion of the Davenport schools. She passed away 1 year and 4 days ago. She dedicated much of her life to the Davenport schools. In 1972, she began her professional career as a 7th grade English teacher at Smart Junior High. She was a teacher at heart and loved that job. It was very touching when a group of her students sent a representative to her funeral to tell us just how much they loved her and what a positive impact she had on their life. What a special message that was. She was next the Chapter 1 liaison for the Davenport Community Schools. At age 43, Mom decided to follow her dream to become a lawyer. She did not, however, give up her love for the Davenport schools or for education. She ran for and was elected to the Davenport School Board, on which she served for 16 years, 10 of those years as president. She is one of the longest serving members in Davenport School Board history. During that time, she recognized a great need at Central High School for an updated auditorium and swimming pool. She worked tirelessly for over 7 years and was one of the driving forces behind making that beautiful pool and performing arts center a reality. She was so incredibly proud when it was finally completed. Mom spent her life helping children, teaching children, and working tirelessly for the Davenport schools. She enthusiastically defended and supported the Davenport schools her entire adult life. She worked hard to make sure that all students in Davenport had equal access to education. She loved the variety of educational opportunities Davenport schools have to offer our children. I am here to ask you to approve the petition to name the stage at the Central High School Performing Arts Center the Pat Zamora Stage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Joni Demmer. Did I say that right? Hopefully.
I brought handouts. Hi, my name is Joni Demmer. I live at 1814 East 38th Street Court in Davenport. I'm a Davenport resident, a public school teacher for 32 years. Before I go on, I want you to imagine all those beautiful faces of all of those kids and all of those beautiful faces of all of those staff members that were here this evening, because that's what I want to talk about. I'm also a member of the Immigration Coalition of the Quad Cities and One Human Family QCA. It was brought to my attention about a month ago that very few schools in the Quad City area have any plan to deal with ICE coming on school campuses or going to school activities. This scares me, and it should scare you. I shared a proposal with you. I also sent it to you by email, but I like a good handout. I'm concerned that we don't have a plan in place. This is about safety. Those kids, those teachers, those staff members, their safety is in your hands, and we need to take it very seriously. Not having a plan compromises their safety, everybody. It compromises their personal information, addresses, phone numbers, parents' places of business. It's about our immigrant students, their addresses. They're scared, they're absent, distracted, and unable to learn because they can't focus. It's about non-immigrant students who are scared for their friends who are in their classes. The question is, a man shows up to school with a gun. Is he an active shooter? Or are they ICE agents? We need to be prepared. What are school resource officers supposed to do? What are teachers supposed to do? Their heart is with their students. I know it is because I was one for years. We need to protect students, teachers, librarians, paras, office staff, I'm really close, cafeteria workers, custodians, student teachers, guest speakers, and contractors. We practice fire drills, tornado drills, bus drills. I still know about bloodborne pathogens, and I've been retired for 8 years. I really hope that you will take this into consideration and keep all of our students, all of our staff safe. It's not about politics. It's about safety. You could just tweak the active shooter forms that you have and make our students safe. Make our parents aware, make our students aware, make our teachers and staff aware. I really hope you'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up is Mary Mayer. Hope I'm saying that right. Maher, sorry.
That's right. As you said, my name is Mary Maher, and I live at 2639 Davie Street. And I'm here to ask you to, just like Joni, to put policies and protocols in place to protect our citizens if immigration enforcement agents, ICE, come to our schools. I volunteer at one of the elementary schools, and I see that the secretaries many times are a first line of defense. All staff and students need to know what the procedures are for when ICE attempts to enter the school grounds or buildings or other school activities. These procedures need to be discussed and practiced just like any other drill. So if when the time comes that ICE is present, the staff knows how to act. So it's just muscle memory, and so they know that the school district backs them and them in their actions so they can protect students, staff, and parents. I worked in the medical setting, and we were able to protect patient privacy with the federal HIPAA law, and the school district should be able to protect our students and staff with the federal FERPA law. The citizens of Davenport are depending on you as elected officials to protect all of our citizens, not just the most vulnerable. Please read through the proposal you have been given and carefully consider the actions that we would like to see taken to protect all the inhabitants of Davenport. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivy, were there any more? Okay. Next up is the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam President,
Director Hayes,
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up are committee reports. Breaking barriers,
None at this time.
legislative advocacy.
Sometime in the near future, we'll be going up to Des Moines to meet with our legislators. I will be attending a legislative forum on February 21st.
Thank you. Local School Advisory Committee,
None at this time.
Long Range Facility Planning,
We're meeting this Friday.
Policy, not yet. Recognition, you saw what happened this quarter. We recognized 5 individuals, which is always fun to do. Finance,
Kevin's going to be presenting our key measures.
Ivy, will start with the other report first. I've been a little bit off schedule for this, so this is the December report that catches us back to on schedule. There's not a whole lot to report, but in this, just some brief highlights. You'll notice that our expenditures are a little bit ahead of revenues for the general fund. That's not unusual. You can see the prior 2 years were very similar. Our solvency will be coming down, and we'll be talking about that on the next slide. But on the, I wanted to point out the sales tax. As you know, with all of our bonds and all of our projects, as we move funds over to cover our bonds for the following year, you're seeing that start to come down. However, when you see a $49 million balance, we're still very healthy in the sales tax fund, and that's done on purpose and expected. On page 2 of that report, I just want to point out the other Fund 30, which is our capital projects fund. That one continues. You can see we're down to just about 22.5 million balance. Later tonight, we'll be setting a date to sell the other half of the bonds for the capital projects. It's trying to be timed up with getting that 22 million to zero. Things are moving very fast in our projects, so this keeps us on pace so we have the funds before we have to pay the contractors and some other expenditures. I wanted to mention nutrition fund. It doesn't happen often, but you'll see our nutrition fund is a little bit negative as far as expenditures versus revenue. That also was planned. It has what the state would say has a very high balance, and they've been asking us to work that balance down to an appropriate level, and we're doing so. Usually, you've also seen me talk about this internal service fund, that is our self-insurance fund. While we're still negative between expenditures versus revenue, we're still very healthy in the range that we're supposed to be in. We'll keep an eye on that. The next few months from our insurance reps, they said the next few months will be very light. So I anticipate that dollar amount will get a lot closer to zero. The final part on this I want to mention is our other Fund 90. If you remember, we have the teacher apprentice program, the federal funds, the TPRA is what you hear it referred to. That is coming to an end this fiscal year. You can see we have a balance. We have the final payments that are going out. So when this fund gets done, it will be closed to move. The balance of anything will be moved to the general fund. Any questions on the monthly report?
Director Barnes.
Kevin, I know you said the internal service funds is not something we should worry about, but I see red. So
Yep.
when should we worry about that? Is there a threshold where we should be getting nervous?
Yes, there always will be. Usually they say you need 6 to 9 months of premium of expenditure, and we're above that. We're at just about between the 10 and 11 month of premium. So that's what we will keep an eye on as things change as we get closer to the end of the year.
Great.
It's a great question.
Anybody else have a question? Okay.
Okay. On the other report, Ivy, thank you. On this key measures, this is really hard to see, but you'll see that our UAB was projected at 19.2. It's coming in about 18.3. That's not unusual, but it still stays in that range of 7 to 17%, which is a little bit higher than what the range is, but it's starting to even out a little bit, which you can see on that next part that I highlighted, that we're at 100.1%. You can't hit it any better than that to try and level out your revenue versus your expenditures as far as authority is concerned. So we're in a good spot there. And finally, on that report, our solvency, you can see it's projected to be at 16.9. I kept telling you for the last several months, 6 months or more, that as we don't have cash reserve, you're going to see our solvency start to come down. That's where it's projected at. I think it'll be a little bit higher than that when we get to the end of the year, but you'll notice it is getting below the 20% mark, which is okay. It's still the 7 to 17%. On page 2 of that, it's still very early. Last month I showed where our variance was, and I think there were 3 of the 4 that were red. Now there's only 2. We're going to keep our eye on that. The timing for making an amendment, if we need to, would be in May. So I'm not going to worry about that until we get a lot closer and we have some actual expenditures further on into the year. Any questions on that?
Looks like we're okay. Is that it? We're going to take about a 3-minute pause here, and we'll be right back. Okay, next up, items requiring action. The first one is the ISL election approval. May I have a motion? Oh, first of all, Kevin, you want to explain this?
Yeah, very briefly, our instructional support levy will expire at the end of next fiscal year. So every 5 years, it's the board's responsibility to decide or not to decide to participate in the instructional support levy. A lot of questions are always, what does the instructional support levy do? It is a property tax, but the levy goes to support. It's a continuation of what's already in place. It's not something new, but it goes to support instruction. It's all things building budgets, curriculum adoption. You're going to have some things coming. That's what helps support that. It's also your curriculum staff, the support for teachers, nurses, counselors. So there's a whole myriad of things that are supported by the instructional support levy. This levy was put in this notice was put in the paper last month on the 21st, I believe. So we've had the posting in the paper and the notification. Where you'll see this come up again is when we adopt our budget in May and April and March and April, excuse me. That's it.
Anybody have a question for him? Okay. May I have a motion on the resolution?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
the board moves for a resolution to continue participation in the instructional support program as attached.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? This is a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
My vote is yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Resolution passes. Next is the school infrastructure services and use.
Madam Chairwoman,
My computer isn't updating, but yes. Director Poston.
move that the following resolution be adopted. Do you want me to read the whole thing? You want me to read the whole thing?
Just this part.
Okay. Resolution fixing the date of sale of approximately $81,050,000 school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bonds, Series 2026, approving electronic bidding procedures and approving official statement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I don't have to do a roll call vote here. I do? Okay, it doesn't say that here, so. So we'll do a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Resolution passes. Next up, curriculum adoption. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the purchase of Into AGA Algebra 2 for the 7-year quote to HMH for $218,641.36.
Could I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Superintendent?
I just wanted to reiterate that all of these programs have gone through our district adoption cycle, which is where we pilot, we field test. On the front end, we select each one of these with a committee that is solely made up of teachers. And then the selection process is at the end. I know we discussed this at a committee of the whole, but that was not a live event. Just wanted to reiterate that all of these were discussed at our committee of the whole. We followed the same exact process that we do for all of our other ones. We shared the committee members, we shared the timing, the processing of these, and just kind of wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we did not get out of our cadence with a discussion and an action item.
Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is the MS Science. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Bott.
I move the board approve the A-plus Science and Supplies contract for middle school science resources in the amount of $221,976 for 7 years.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Anybody have a question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is the High School World Studies Geography. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the purchase of TCI Geography Alive for $85,012.50 for 7 years.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is Edmentum. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes?
I move the board approve the 3-year contract purchase of Admentum for online learning and credit recovery platforms in the amount of $462,000 with an annual payment of $154,000.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Superintendent, could you explain this since it is a shift from what we're currently using?
Yes, during the pandemic, we used a different software platform. This is going to provide the same services to our students that are online. We created a process to go online throughout the last 4 years. This program will offer both credit recovery and online for our students that are currently attending Mid-City High School. We currently utilize this almost majority through our high schools, and this program gives us everything that we need, and the price point is significantly different for the better. And so that's why we are recommending this one, Edmentum.
All in favor say aye. Oh, Director Barnes, do you have a question?
Do we have an approximate number of students who are participating in online learning or credit recovery?
Yes, so right now we have approximately 200 students online. Like I said, over the course of the last couple of years, Bree Seifert, the principal at Mid-City, has a vetting process because we don't just allow students to go online. They have to prove that they are showing up, they are doing their work, because there are a handful of students that would be a good fit. And so for us, it's a way to keep our students engaged in our schools, graduating from Davenport schools. Credit recovery, we do that on a credit recovery basis, and it's a lot of credits recovered. I can put that in a Friday report for that number.
Thank you.
Director Beck.
Sorry, this was a question I didn't think to ask when we discussed it. Do we have a way to migrate from Edgenuity to Edmentum, or does it just start over from scratch?
No, the migration of this is going to be, it's not going to be easy.
Okay, but
So
we've got a plan.
we do have a plan, and it's not going to be easy. And so it's going to be a real heavy lift because our students utilize this in the summer. And so it's going to butt right up to that and then come right over into the next. And so we're going to have all hands on deck doing that migration. But that is a pain point for us. And so we're really going to put some thought to that part of it, because we get a lot of our students through the finish line over the course of the summer, and we want to make sure that we have that opportunity. So that is something that is high at the top of our list, and I see John shaking his head as well. So,
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discussion items, 2026-27 calendar. Turned over to Mr. Flynn.
Thank you all. The calendar and Ivy, I don't know if you could open that maybe. Thank you. Just a couple of things that I wanted to mention. First, there are a lot of consistencies with this year's calendar. Namely, the start of the school year after tonight's vote will be the 24th, and that is the first day that we can start. The week previous will be professional learning days for our teachers, and that mirrors what we did this past year. A couple other pieces that I would like to mention: the extended days that we had in place this year. So I think there are 7 of them spread throughout the calendar, have been pretty well received by our building administrators. It's been a good touch point for them throughout the course of the school year, and we look to continue that as well. The other piece that was weighing here, and I'll get into some changes that are made. The intent in developing this calendar was having our students done at the end of May as opposed to coming back for a day or two in June. So that was one of the parameters that we were working with as we developed this. And this calendar was vetted by the DEA. There was conversation and some adjustments done as a result of those meetings. But there are some changes here structurally as well that need to be noted. First and foremost, you'll notice that elementary conferences have typically fallen in November and created what we have not affectionately called No School November. And those conferences, we couldn't get to the root cause of why those were in November and not any other time during the school year. So those were moved up into the month of October, which balances the month of November out a bit. In addition to that, there's a day of fall break tacked on in October, and 19th on the proposed calendar. And there's a second spring break that's added in April. And that date will also serve as a potential snow day if we have inclement weather next year. With that said, the only other piece that's different from this year, the winter break is not 2 full weeks of release for students or teachers, but it's the equivalent of 12 days overall. I would also mention that I know in the past a request has been made for us to have the graduation date and times. As soon as we get that confirmed, we'll amend the calendar and we will get that sent back out. And the last thing of note in the calendar itself, we talked about the 1080 hours earlier in the meeting. This calendar currently stands at 1,102 hours of student time. So just wanted to make sure that was there as well.
Are there any questions, Director Potts?
So John, do I understand you correctly that now we're going to have the 12 days of Christmas?
You caught my ulterior motive. Yes, that is true.
Strike up the band.
Director Beck.
So I appreciate moving the conferences closer to the start of the year in elementary, especially. I think that's really important, given that we want to catch kids as early as possible. But as I'm looking at it now, there's an in-service day on the 5th and a vacation the Monday after the conferences. And so there's 3 weeks that aren't complete in October. So is it like no school, 0 school October? I don't know. I feel like we're kind of, I don't know the solution, but I feel like we've kind of just pushed that not going to school problem back. But maybe October is magic because we found out that it might actually be kind of magic. So
I would say the one piece that played into the conversation this year was the feeling that some of our staff had during the month of October. You come in and the first couple weeks are the honeymoon of the school year, and then kind of the rigor of the weeks plays into it. And we had a lot of conversation with staff that were feeling it in October, so there was some intentionality here as well.
okay. And my other question was, how often do we revisit the idea to continue with the extended day and the once monthly-ish in services with teachers? And asking just more because the high school now has a new schedule, which wasn't in place when we first introduced this plan. And so I'm curious to know if this is working as well as we had hoped it would. And also, it's good to know at the elementary and middle school levels too how it's working. And I'm not saying anything for next year, but revisiting the issue might be a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I know last year when we changed from the early out to the Monday professional learning days, there was a request that we gauge how things were going. There are conversations kind of ongoing. Is this the best model? But it is more anecdotal than a surveyish type of feedback. But that is definitely something we will keep in mind moving forward.
Anybody else? I do have a question. When you have conferences in the middle school and the high school, it is midterm, and they have a report card there to discuss with parents. By putting elementary conferences there, it is not the end of the quarter. They don't do midterms. What are we doing with that?
The anecdotal conversation again with some administrators and with teachers, and as part of the conversation with the DEA when we had that, was that as you get to that point in the school year, and at that point you're just about 7 weeks in, teachers have a pretty good feeling and some data from the things that they're doing in the classroom to have conversations that don't necessarily necessitate a report card to speak of, but they know what standards have been met at that point in time, what struggles there are, what celebrations there are. They felt that they had a good vision for what that would look like at this point in the year.
And at that point, do we have like fast test scores back? Do we have any kind of things to share with parents other than this is what I'm observing?
Yeah, they will have their benchmark testing done, and they will be conducting their weekly assessments or biweekly assessments at that time to give progress reports to the parents.
Okay. Well, can give it a try and see how it goes. Any other questions? This will be on the next agenda. Central Stage renaming.
Thank you again. The faculty, staff, and alumni from Davenport Central High School have submitted the appropriate documentation to name the stage in the Performing Arts Center located at Central High School, the Pat Zamora stage. And you heard some background information earlier in the meeting. When this was submitted, I was reading through it, and it reminded me a little bit of a program that I watch on Sunday morning. And at the tail end of this program on Sunday morning, they talk about a life well lived. And as I read through the things that I'm going to read to you here in a minute, the parallel there struck me. So Pat Zamora was an accomplished teacher, board member, board president, attorney, and Davenport Community School District advocate throughout her lifetime. Mrs. Zamora served on the community in many capacities, including her work with the Eastern Iowa Community College Board, the Davenport Civil Service Commission, the Women in Education Association, and by providing hundreds of hours of pro bono work for underprivileged students and families across the area. As a board member, Mrs. Zamora understood the importance of being involved and was a staunch advocate for fine arts and athletics. Her work was integral in laying the groundwork for the facility expansion that added a state-of-the-art performing arts center and natatorium at Central High School.
Thank you. Anybody have a question? It will come for a vote again at the next meeting. Director Beck.
First of all, thank you for speaking tonight. This is, I think, a very well deserved honor, although we aren't voting on it tonight. How would this be marked at the PAC? Do we have plans for a plaque or a statue or something that's noticeable from the audience?
I have not been in the conversation about how that would be done, but I know the last time there was a facility named at Central that I was a part of, it was the wrestling room. And the administration at the building worked with the family to figure out where the right spot would be, so that the honor that was bestowed on Cy Roberts was done the right way. And I think that would be a discussion that would happen when we get to that point in the road.
Anybody else? Thank you. Oh, sorry, Director Potts.
I just think this is a good idea. I knew Pat. I used to chit chat with her when she was the title associate over in the annex. I'd be over there to get some social studies stuff, and she always knew what was going on because she was out in all the buildings. And she was a pretty effective board president, a very active board president. So and a very big, huge supporter of Central High School. And I must say, she was a parent, and I taught one of her children.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. West Stage remodel. Looks like a Josh question.
All right. So we were working on the stage at West a few months ago and noticed some soft spots in the wood. And we're looking underneath, trying to replace some stuff that was going on there, and decided to look at it a little further. Well, we realized that over the years, at some point, there had been a termite infestation that had taken place. There wasn't really any found now, but there was obviously some in the past. So it made the wood soft and not real stable for a large number of people to stand on. So we would just like to move forward with getting a design and replacement done for the West Stage. Any questions around that?
How did we not notice termites?
Well, they could have been there 20 years ago. Maybe they did at the time. We just aren't aware when they were there or when it took place.
Oh, okay, they're not there right now.
As far as I know, they're not there right now.
And why maple for the floor versus some other kind of wood?
That's the recommendation from people to do stages.
Okay. Director Poston.
So Josh, is that a complete tear out of the floor?
Yeah, we'll be tearing the thing out, doing a subfloor, building the structure underneath, and putting a whole new stage floor on.
So what about the concrete underneath? That's not cracked or shifting or anything?
Yeah, there's some concrete there, and there's also some places where we think there should be concrete probably added. So there might be some of that goes on as well. But the concrete that's there seems to be fine.
I mean, is some of it dirt floor underneath?
Yeah, I believe there's some there that needs to be replaced, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, why wasn't that poured like entire concrete floor underneath there?
I have no idea. I mean, back at the time when they designed it, I couldn't say why they did it that way or didn't do it that way, but...
Because surely there would be moisture problems from that then too, wouldn't there?
I mean, some of that stuff stays dry if there's a barrier put down underneath of it or around it, but ventilation makes a big difference.
Director Beck.
Just thinking in terms of houses, just because the termites you can't see them now. I'm assuming we've done or are going to do an investigation to make sure, and treatments to make sure that they aren't hiding somewhere.
Yeah, the best thing will be when we remove this, we'll have the experts come in and treat the whole area.
Okay. Thank you.
Will this be done in the summer so it doesn't disrupt the music department, the theater department?
That's the plan, and as of right now, the way things are falling or progressing, that's where it's going to have to be anyway. But we'll have to plan around school staff and things going on to the best of our abilities. They're aware, though.
So is there a safety issue? I mean, this isn't going to collapse on them or anything?
Not that we're being told right now. I think I don't know to what extent they're using it right now, but nobody's told us that, hey, you need to stay off this right now.
Director Hayes.
Josh, we have a Any idea how long this project will take once it gets started?
I believe it'd be like a month and a half, 2 months.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Administrative report.
Over the last week, as we continue to plan and map out our ordering of our materials, our IT department has found out that there are 9-month lead times on some of the materials that we are needing to order for Sudlow. And so we had to do an emergency order for our Wi-Fi Aruba components, our network, our closet networks, and some of our laptops. This was a significant order. It was planned in the project. In order to get that moving, we had to do an emergency order where we contact the AEA, do the order, but I wanted to give the board and the community a heads up that we're putting it on the February 23rd board meeting to vote on. Again, this is all budgeted for inside of our items. We would normally be, as we were looking through our board planning sheets today, we normally start ordering that stuff in March so we don't have to house it, so it arrives at the appropriate time. And when we started calling to get pricing a week ago, they stated you're 9 months out. So to prevent any type of delay, future delays, problems with the opening of Sudlow, we did an emergency order. Again, we have the dollars associated with them. It is a large number. Since we were ordering for Sudlow, we did the same for Smart, and we did the same for North to prevent any of these problems in the future if those projects get moving forward. Each project's anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000. We also are finishing up some of our teacher stations, and the laptops have the same. The teacher laptops, like that you see right here, have the same issues, and so we ordered those. The total order is about $1 million when you add each one of those components together. Normally, we would bring those to the board, do our discussion, do our items. I did consult with the president and vice president. We have a normal procedure for this. We saw this as a potential building, keeping one of our buildings from opening, so we enacted that policy, and we'll be putting together a Friday report and a board vote on the 23rd. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any board requests?
This isn't a formal board request. It was actually a question from the administrative report. Could you just summarize that in the next Friday report?
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, board reflections. I'll start with student board members.
Okay. I was just going to start off with overall, I think that to try like new things for next year is definitely a good start because over the past couple of years, I will say we've evolved for the better. And I also like to say that from the people that we heard today, specifically like with ICE and stuff like that, I think that's also very important to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think it's kind of eye-opening because I never really thought about what would happen if they came to school. So I think it's a good thing to think about. And I also think that all of the awards and stuff, it's always very heartwarming. And just to see all of the hardworking people, just like how dedicated they are to our district, it's great to see.
Director Beck.
Yeah, you really can't top the awarding of the Heart of Excellence Award and honoring our student athletes. We have some really incredible people. On top of that, a former teacher and long-serving board member. If you look at the sheet of signatures, I think it's got to be like every single staff member at Central signed on to that. Which says a lot. So a lot of celebrations tonight. I think we have some wonderful people in the district, both students and adults.
Director Hayes.
I was moved by what's already been said for the most part, the recognitions, the presentations, and really excited to see North's entire football team here. That was amazing. We've had a lot of students here before, but I don't think everyone has come out in numbers like that before. So that was pretty impressive. I liked the presentation from the Zamora family for the stage. And I didn't realize that she had taught at Smart. I don't know that I've ever heard that before. And the ICE information, that was something that we need to have a plan because it seems like it's not going to end soon. So I was kind of excited about that somebody else thought about it. And although it's happening and really a lot of things going on in Minnesota, I guess I didn't think about it here in Davenport.
Director Barnes.
Heart of Excellence Awards reinforce that we have the absolute best people of any school district in this area. The humility associated with their service, their commitment to our students is absolutely second to none. I just those are overwhelming moments. The other thing I wanted to add, we've done a lot of investment in athletic facilities over the past few years. But each time we address a deferred maintenance project associated with the fine arts, that's an upgrade to our fine arts programs in school districts. So whether it's this stage replacement at West or it's the HVAC at Central, we are also investing equally in the fine arts. And I don't want that to be overlooked by our community as they see turf in a variety of places. There is an equal investment, and each one of these projects represents an upgrade for our students and for our community.
Director Potts.
Well, anytime that we're recognizing, honoring, and ratifying the contributions of our people, that's the high point of the meeting. I mean, if we could do nothing but that, shoot, we'd have a full house every time. You notice after we're done with it, they all go home. They don't hang around to listen to the rest of this stuff.
Director Poston.
I'll echo what Director Potts just said. Again, enjoy recognizing our athletes and also recognizing our staff members. But then also to something that's going to be a really big deal this month, and that's issuing our tax revenue bonds. And when you talk about $81 million, it's a pretty big deal. And in order to, or for issuing those, that will allow us to finish the projects that we currently have, and then we've also have a phase 2 that we'll be getting into, and so there's a lot ahead and a lot on our table, but I think things are going in the right direction.
Superintendent Schneckloff.
The recognition tonight is just, it overflowed the bucket for me, and getting to do some of that stuff this past week. And I think it's an important reminder, what Director Potts says, we have to continue to recognize our human beings because it is a bucket filler. The North football team asked me to come and give a speech, a talk before their playoff game. And I went to Sergeant Quick. I happened to see him right before that. And I was like, hey, if they make it to the Dome, I'm riding shotgun in your car. We're giving a police escort all the way to Cedar Falls. So you better figure out how to get that car out of jurisdiction because we're doing it. And they were this close to making it to Cedar Falls. So we almost had to figure that out. And we would have gladly done it. Hopefully you would have figured that out, Sergeant Quick. Yeah, okay, all right. But if you reflect on that, that would have been the first time Davenport North ever made it to the Dome. And the team that, if it was 14-7, that's how close our teams are. That's how close our sports are. And many of them, as you see, MAC Players of the Year. There's some amazing things going on, and I believe Mr. Shublin's going to continue to build on it.
Thank you. The Heart of Excellence Award, and this is only 4 or 5 people that we're recognizing a quarter, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but it's nice that seeing that we actually are recognizing people for doing great things, and their colleagues are the ones nominating them. So that is a big deal. The recognition for the athletes. And I also like, this was never part of it, but it's kind of become part of it. There's an adult that steps in. Pat Sheehy was the first one, and so they said, hey, wait a minute, we have somebody here too. So it's nice that we're recognizing the athletic volunteer that's also in the building. And I'd like to thank my board members because sometimes apparently I skip over something, so sorry about that. May I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So a lot of the stuff that she did,
And did you tell her that?
Yeah, John followed her.